This is Big Podcast.
It's Build a Big Podcast, a marketing podcast for podcasters. David Hooper with you. How you making it, man? A lot has happened in the last day or so as far as constitutional rights in the United States. People are frustrated, or they're happy. A lot of emotions. And I've gotten a few messages asking, should I say something on my podcast? Or I want to say something, but I don't know what to say. A lot of people shy away from anything that could be considered divisive. And I get that. But also remember, you have people listening to you because they value your opinion. And people are listening to you because you help them feel less alone about something. Maybe it's a hobby that they normally enjoy by themselves, their spouse, husbands, wives, boyfriends. Somebody in their life doesn't get it, and they come to you because you do get it. Maybe it's a certain belief that you have, a way of life, a strategy, regardless of whether it's very serious or something more fun, even a TV show that they enjoy, that you also enjoy. People are coming to you because you help them to feel less alone. People also view you as somebody with power and authority, and they appreciate somebody speaking out on that issue. And again, maybe this is something very simple, and in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter, something like a television show. But making people feel heard and feel part of something, feel connected to another human, that's important. That's what this is really about. Podcasting isn't about television shows or hobbies or any other kind of entertainment. It's about connection. The real power is that we feel that we are part of this thing with other people on this big rock that we've got spinning around the sun. Regarding abortion or anything, you do not have to say anything. But if you feel drawn to do that, and you don't know what to say, sometimes things come up quickly and we don't know what to say. You've probably been in a conversation like that, maybe an interview where you're the host or the guest, and you think back on it later and think, oh man, I should have said this. And sometimes we say the wrong thing. I think that's why I've gotten messages like this. What should I say? Or I want to say something and I don't know what to say. It's good to think before you speak, especially with situations that feel important to us. Sometimes, especially in emotional situations, it's very easy to go with pure emotion rather than a skillful delivery. It's a bar fight, right? It escalates something. It makes it much bigger than it should have been. That can get us into trouble. I think this is a really important situation. I believe in autonomy over our bodies. I believe in healthcare, mental health, physical health. I want to see people do well. So I'm going to give you some thoughts and take these for what they are about how to jump in here if you want to jump in. And if you don't. Not everybody's going to jump in on this situation. What I'm going to talk about, though, may make you think about other situations, not just women's healthcare. And let me correct that. It's really not women's healthcare. It's really everybody's healthcare when you think about it. Everybody's affected by a woman being pregnant. Everybody. We're all here because a woman was pregnant. This is not strictly a female issue. Everybody's affected. I do think, though, and this is maybe a belief, that if men could become pregnant, we had to carry a baby, with men being in the positions of power that we have, and let's call it for what it is, it's a patriarchy, I think the situation would be a little bit different. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think that we would be looking at it in a different way than we are now. We've got to be careful with our words and with our message. I don't think it's something that we need to stay up at night worrying about and never release anything. My belief is that you're not going to get it right and you're not going to completely mess it up either. You've got to speak your truth and do the best that you can. Try to connect with people. Trust that those people are going to see you. But a lot of people, they're not going to see you. They're going to see what they want from your message. Right now, there's a group of podcasters and podcasting companies. They've come together to organize a pre-roll ad campaign with a few pro-choice scripts and bullet points related to what's happening right now. Obviously, this is not going to work for all podcasters, but something like this type of organization around multiple podcasters wanting to convey a very similar message or the same message. I'm going to read you the script here because they have organized and connect with other like-minded people. That can be very powerful. The downside of this is that it's not personal. I'll get to that in a second, but it can be helpful to show solidarity and momentum. So I want you to take it out of the abortion thing for a minute. If you've got a belief system, something that you're trying to spread, maybe it's just a business thing that you're trying to spread. something like this, a syndicate maybe, working with 5 or 10 other podcasters, you can promote stuff in this way. You can reach new audiences, and it can be very, very effective and helpful. Let me give you an idea of what these guys are doing. It's a 30-second pre-roll script. Hi, listeners. Before I get to this episode, I want to take a moment to address the June 24th Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This decision stripped away the legal right to have a safe and legal abortion. Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive care, including abortion, threatens the health and independence of all Americans. This decision could also lead to the loss of other rights. To learn more about what you can do to help, go to choice.cdr.co. I encourage you to speak up, take care, and spread the word. I'm going to have that linked in the episode notes, by the way. There are a few scripts that are linked. The reason I said it is it could be we. It says, hi, listeners. I guess I could say, hey, big podcasters. It can be modified in a way to make it more personal. But let me give you something different that I think is going to be even more powerful than that script that I just read. If you care about this, or if you care about anything else, this is something very powerful that you can do. Messages like this pre-roll, that's a start. That's a good technique. It's going to help you spread the message. It's going to help you reach a lot of people. But more powerful is not reading a script. More powerful is you speaking your message. Things are easy to ignore until they affect you personally, you or somebody that you love. Last month, and this is ironic, I was discussing what happened with a board member from the Podcast Academy over an abortion-related tweet that he posted. I mentioned a story of a guy that I knew when I was growing up. Older guy, let's say 35 years older than me. I knew his kids. And he was a good man. He went to church every week. He tried to do the right thing. He had some very masculine ideals, very traditional ideals. And the example I gave was his opinion on the color pink. It was for women, not for men. You would never see this guy in a pink shirt. And I'm talking about a pink Oxford shirt, for example. Oxford cloth, dress shirt, you're not going to see him in that. I'm not talking about anything flashy. I'm talking about a standard shirt that most guys would think nothing of. Pink tie, no way. And that seems stupid now, right? But that's where some people were, more so then than now, but it's still where some people are now. I saw him years later. I was out with my father. When this guy walked away, I mentioned to my father there was a good thing I didn't have on pink that day. Just a joke. And my father told me, I think he's changed his mind on that. You know, his son is gay. I said, what? Like I said, I knew his son. I said, oh, wow. Okay. Wasn't an issue for me, but I think it might have been an issue for this guy. And my father and I had a discussion on this. This is important. I mentioned the Michelle Obama quote. She said, it's hard to hate somebody close up. And that's where this guy was. When his son came out, what he thought about gay people changed. What he had experienced with gay people changed. He's not a member of PFLAG. I don't see him marching in the pride parades that are happening all over this month. It's slow, or I'm imagining it's slow. Maybe he's out there leading the parade. But he's going in the right direction. He's changed. When you tell your story to somebody who is connected with you, and that's your podcast listeners, even if it's not a perfect story, it's not polished, it is much more powerful than a generic script. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that you should not do this script thing. Take that script, put it on your podcast, join with these other podcasters who are doing that. I think it's great. I'd encourage you to do that. But what I would also encourage you to do, if you really want to make something happen, bring yourself into this. Let people know how you are affected by healthcare choices. Maybe you've got something specific to abortion. Let people know. Let them feel you, man. And this is a message specifically for the white guys, middle-aged, straight white guys, guys like me. The women that you love are affected by this. They may not be telling you this, but they are. And I'm not going to share any stories that I've heard from the women that I love, but you can trust me on this. They are people that are very important to me, and some of them are heartbreaking. But they're scared to speak up. or it's a private matter and they don't want to speak up. But just because we don't know doesn't mean that we are not affected by this. You may have experienced your own healthcare issues, and I look at this as a healthcare choice. This isn't something to do with killing a baby or anything like that. I'm going to side with the scientists and the medical industry, not the ultra-conservative religious people that are basing something on what they feel or what they've been told without actually questioning what is happening in a woman's body when this happens. It's a healthcare thing. And I can definitely speak to healthcare as somebody who has been self-employed for the last 25 years. Healthcare in the United States sucks. It is ridiculous that somebody like me, somebody who's made a good living over the years, lives in a very nice house in a nice neighborhood, cannot get the healthcare that he needs because insurance sucks, or because certain people that you have trusted to vote and act in your best interest, I'm talking about the politicians, have blocked certain healthcare measures to where people cannot get the healthcare that they need easily. Blue Cross Blue Shield, you might have heard of it. It's on a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. I'm paying $750 per month. One guy, just me, $750 a month for Blue Cross Blue Shield. They decided to leave the state. We don't want to do business here. So they left. Got to find another insurance policy. I go get it. That company didn't leave the state, but a good policy, the ACA, Affordable Health Care Act, with no lifetime limits, with wellness checks, mental health, other benefits like that. They didn't feel like offering that, even at $750 a month. This wasn't subsidized. This was simply a good policy with good benefits. But you know what I can get? A major medical policy. Do you know what it takes for me to have anything paid for? $15,000 per year before 1 cent goes to any of my healthcare. Which means aside from something like brain surgery, cancer treatments, you're pretty much on your own. And if those expenses get too much, you're on your own again. Lifetime limits, if they feel like they don't want to pay for something, they don't pay for it. That's how it is, and that's how it feels to me. You may experience something different. Maybe you work a job. Maybe you've got the best policy in the world, some kind of group policy, but self-employed people are affected by healthcare choices every day. So I understand what it is like to not have access to the healthcare that you need. And thankfully, I'm in the position where I can actually afford some kind of insurance. I know a lot of people that can't. And it's not just a money thing. They get turned down for coverage. They've got a pre-existing condition. This is the way that insurance works. This is the way that our healthcare system works. It's much different in other countries. Anybody who thinks that America has the best healthcare, you have not been to another country. You have not seen how that system works. Is it perfect? No. But comparatively, you can get the healthcare that you need. And if we're not going to take care of the people that are already here and bring more children into the world, they're going to need healthcare. They're going to need food, clothing, shelter, education. If we can't take care of the people that we've got here now, what are we going to do when terminating a pregnancy is not an option? You may think adoption is an option. For some people, maybe. The governor of Tennessee has done everything that he can to make sure gay people can't adopt, even though his own children were raised by a gay woman. He has a gay sister. I've talked about being involved in the adoption industry. I took a consulting gig for an adoption company. And if you think that that is more compassionate than abortion, you are wrong. The way they treat these women, the way babies are more or less bought or sold, the way money is moved around to cover expenses, no, it's not. If you're concerned about these things, I encourage you to reach out to people who are affected by them. Just because you're experiencing something a certain way does not mean everybody is experiencing it a certain way. And I'm the first to admit that. Straight white guy. I experience the world in a much different way than a lot of people. But that's the power of this. By us telling our stories, we let other people know what we're experiencing, and we can bring together people as humans, see what we do have in common, and move forward as a team. If you want more from me, bigpodcast.com. That's the website. I'm here all the time, usually not talking about things this deep. Bigpodcast.com/subscribe is where to subscribe, and make sure that you never miss an episode. 3 buttons, you're going to pick one. Android, iPhone, RSS. That's going to get you any of the episodes that I do delivered straight to your phone, delivered wherever you want them. Bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Go there, subscribe before you forget. Then I want you to outline your story. I want you to share it with your people. Let them feel who you are and publish it. If you need help, reach out to me, bigpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.